Aye, today we're on another one of our nature walks again, but it's...
We're about a mile from the
Rollins
Park, isn't it?
Aye.
On the Derwent.
On the River Derwent, yeah. It's...
And this is a place where we used to come a lot as kids. We used to climb. We used to call it jackdaw walls, like you say over there. There's like a bit of a wall, it's all our grown. But there's little holes in the walls all the way up.
Aye, like water drainage things, aren't there?
Jackdaws used to nest in this, so that's why it used to be called jackdaw walls.
Yeah, there used to be hundreds of jackdaws flying around through here.
That's why you could hide brick and then they were all fly.
But the wall comes all the way along in there.
At the bottom of the wall there's a little tiny ledge. And I mean, even then I think it was only not much wider than a foot.
Aye.
And we used to actually run along it as kids, didn't we? I mean...
Like climbing along, it's like back against the wall or front against the wall.
I think you could actually just walk it.
Like a normal step, right?
Yeah, and very quick. But it's the...
It doesn't look like much of a ledge from here, but when you're up there I suppose it probably was.
It's probably dropped away a bit though.
Aye.
Yeah, it was probably a little bit like... But it wasn't wide, like you say, you could just see it walking it really, couldn't it?
Aye,
but the drop, if you did fall off, it's a big enough drop to kill you. Like,
kill yourself, because there's all kinds of bricks underneath there, isn't there? It's the same with all the water.
10 years now, it couldn't seem to...
Yeah, you've need fear of them days. Right, I had fear, I never climbed along it.
We used to even try and pull ourselves up in some of the holes to see if we could look in, to see if there was any jackdaws in there.
That's our landslide, that. Because you can see that fence hanging down across there. When I was on the, working down at Bali, we worked for the National Trust years ago, and we put all that fence from the end of that wall all the way along and down. You know, we built that.
I was taught the wall was more here, but it mustn't have been.
It mustn't have been, because if it had a collapse, it would have been in here, wouldn't it?
Shadow, when I think it was more our hanging rocks, and you could walk underneath. It was more.
You could, aye. You could get in from up there, just on the corner.
The water was there, chill at the back, wasn't it?
Aye.
And it was like water, this kind of our home.
Aye.
Well, I think we didn't used to put the water kind of under it.
You couldn't, you could get along into there, where the shut-off part is along there, but it's all like landslide.
Well, top here used to be bathhouse from gibside, didn't it?
Aye, from gibside chaple.
I mean, I don't know when that was built, what, 300-400 years ago?
It's somewhere around about, yeah, I'm not even sure the dates on that place.
But then all the banks slid.
Aye.
I think.
Aye, the way they dug it up, didn't they, the bathhouse? I think it was on top of that bit of wall up there.
Did the bathhouse not end up getting ruined? But because even then it slid and kind of made it all crumble and...
It's, oh no, they dug it out in the, I think it was the early 90s.
Now how it originally stopped getting used, did it not end up dropping?
Oh right, aye.
The bank
it might have been because there was a bigger bankside on the top of it, wasn't it?
I'm sure they built it.
In a stupid place.
And then it just kind of... the bank slid a bit and it kind of ruined it.
Aye, because when you were up on the top there, it was just all one big slide up to the next hill. What had washed back down. This would actually be a good little fishing place.
I wonder what they'd do. Because the jackdaws must have nested in there for decades. Because
aye.
I mean, my father used to say, when he was a kid, he used to come out, so they must have nested in there for decades. I wonder what made them stop. You know what I mean? Though?
Because there's no kicking around, is there?
Because you can't, when we were kids, and like you said,
it must have been when they've done this work on it, not long ago. Because they had scaffolding up one here one year, didn't they?
Yeah, they must have nested in there for half a century. You know what I mean?
The way they blamed the jackdaws on blocking the drainage holes up and cleared them out and done something with them. Now to stop the jackdaws from getting back in. Because they might have blamed all that on the reason why it's been collapsing. No, because you get the holes in the wall where they're just drainage. But anyways, this is what we're known as kids has been jackdaw walls. And Gibside Chapel is just the one that's right. It's not on the top, but it's further in the top. That is Gibside Chapel grounds on there.
Well, just across there, you've got the orange. Just
a bit further through. Well, that's you can see the field across there.
Orange field, yeah.
Just up over there, you can see the farmer's field. You can see that from Rollins Park. There's a fish just jumping under that tree there. You can see the ripples. Aye. Now we're going a bit further, get a bit more video. We're still at that place, Jackdaw Walls. We've just come from there. I was just standing down there where the water bit is. But what I put the camera back on for is just to show you what,
somebody's been camping but they've left all the rubbish. That's what spoils things. I mean, it's illegal to camp anywhere in Britain unless it's on a
private land, and that's aye.
Where you've got a pier. And this is probably the reason why, because people camping and just leave all
the crap.
All the rubbish.
That's a tent. No, bits of a tent, isn't it? Fiberglass.
But,
tent pegs must have got that cold, they just burnt the tent.
I mean, it looks, wait, if it wasn't like this would be a nice spot.
It's a nice spot, huh? It's a good clear room.
I mean, really what they've left there, a few tin cans that could have easily
bagged them. It would have been neat weight.
It would have been a half a carrier bag, wouldn't it?
It looks like they've had a canny set. They've like put a bit of effort into the little fireplace now and all the brickwork and that. All the stones, and then just made a mess of it and left it. They've run out of stuff to burn. Now, well, you saying that, they couldn't have run out of stuff to burn. There's logs all over the place, bits of wood. There's all kinds. They wouldn't have had to walk very far, just doing there.
They were actually thinking of coming, doing a bit of fishing here, but stopping like through the night.
Dean and I'll need a bit of fishing.
Even like put a bit of a tent up, or even stick a hammock up there.
You could put the hammocks in between these trees, now, because it's got plenty of that string, you know, the paracord and that, and just fucking stick it on there from that tree to that tree.
Fish and make a bit of fire.
I could even tie one from that tree there to that tree there. You know, like the hammock.
Oh, well, you could.
Like have one there and one on the other trees now there. You could have a good little setup here, so it's like further away from the fire at the same time. People come down and spoil it. This is
Fosters. Must be Australians who's been doing that.
Aye, the Aussies. And the barbie. There's the grade off the barbie. Can't see any shrimp shells anywhere, like. But this, there's a fish just jumped across there now. This will be a good spot for fishing. Now, because it's the calm deep water, isn't it?
I reckon it's pretty good to see just run this bend and up there.
Aye. Well, we're on the footpath porch now anyway, so we'll have a look. Have a good look. This is like I don't know. Don't know if that looks a stand on or
that looks a bit
boggy type stuff, but I'm gonna have a slow try, like. It's actually quite soft. So he stands on it to test it. So the fishing wouldn't be good from here. You would either have to get onto there, hire a few big bricks down, or get there and do it. It absolutely stinks. Because we've got a soulage works right behind us. And it's absolutely minging. Right, so I'll turn the camera off until we get to something a bit more interesting. Another fish just jumped now. They're just nosing up. It'll be good fishing now because of the soulage, and like there's a feed just doing there where you, well, not a feed, but where the soulage gets like emptied into the water. It'll probably attract a lot of wildlife and fish and flies and all the food chain.
I'll explain that I can't. There's a kidnap just in.
I've actually started it now. We just came a little bit further up here, like around the corner from where that's the field there, and Jackdaw was just around the corner. But it's like bits of sandbanks and all that, and it's just a rock.
It's a rock.
I wouldn't want to fall in there.
Just across the water there, that was like a lot more clearer. When I was a kid, this fella took the camping, yeah?
Aye.
It was a lorry, he took all of us, me, Sean Mappen, load of friends, your John, yours and you. We took one and just camped here for the weekend, and it wasn't there. I think it was early April because it was Easter holidays.
Aye.
But it was nice and hot because we were actually getting up in the morning, just jumping in the river.
I can remember that being like much lower. See, at this time of year it does get wild, doesn't it? In April it would have been lower.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was the only time I've seen a grass snake now.
Aye.
Because we were across there and there was a grass snake somewhere across here on the bankside.
Aye. They are rare.
And one of the lads actually swam across and caught it, and we would just let it go again in the water.
Aye. You just didn't see them. You didn't even get the adders. I heard rumours of adders being doing here years ago and stuff like that.
Definitely was. But I mean, I wouldn't even think you'd get the grass snakes for some reason doing anything.
Nah,
But that's the only time I've ever seen one.
Never heard of them or seen of them or not for a long time. No, it's getting a bit rougher where we are now. Like now the pathways, and we'll carry on, and I'll turn the camera off just so I don't drop it in the water. Right, just put the camera back on just to show you. We're just a little bit further up again from where we were, and our path sort of stops here. I mean, we could get up there onto the field, but it's just it's a bit rough. But because that's all the bank sides there. You kind of get around. You could if you got wet, but then as you got further up there, it's all just big high weed stuff. But it's never been used for a long time, has it? Any pathways up there? So it's just wildly overgrown. So we're just gonna head back. It's sort of put a block on my little ramble for the day.
Anybody guns in the woods these days, hardly. All the kids is in the house.
Playing on computers. Aye. We had no better. This was brilliant when we were kids. Coming down here. We haven't seen or heard much wildlife, like, but it's still. It's a quiet day. I think that'll be to do with the weather, like. But I haven't even seen a duck. Not a thing doing this part of the water. It's good fishing. That's all it is. Nice, deep, slow running water. You've got the shallows, rapids down the bottom. There's a bit of a hole under that big tree up there. Like a... I don't know if it's going to be something like a fox or a badger. But ours was clear years ago, and you can see some old kingfisher holes up on the top there. One of them still got a bit of bird crop on it. It's probably getting used. If the camera focuses in. Trying to get me sort of way through here. Just leaving the camera on just to show you what a little bit of a struggle it is. Without slipping into that dark, dirty, murky water. Just heard something doing that. It's actually a bit awkward. Now you've got a few claustrophobic, like. I'm not claustrophobic, but you know, it's still no good. Bit of a young yew tree there. Old bit of some other tree dead next to it.
That's what used to come back in the bows, didn't it?
Aye.
Yeah. Long bows.
Because they planted a load of them up at gibside. And the birds have probably carried half the seeds down into here, like. That's how there's as many yew trees doing the dirt ones. This is another place where we've been on the water for a while. Like on the water for a while, and we haven't seen a water hen or a moor hen. Getting attacked by a wasp there. Whizzed around us a few times. I was quick to get it. Brambles. Not really moving. Yeah, we're back into the corner now where There's a drainage pipe over there, leading from the field. Ought to stop the bankside from collapsing forward. Gibside used to be a good place for the pheasants years ago, didn't it? You know, when, because they used to do a lot of shoots up there. But they had gamekeepers and you weren't allowed to even walk through it at one time. They would be chasing you, thinking you were poaching or mental. We were just kids. They'd be walking the bull up there with shotguns.
Used to be the walk up where the chaple and that was.
Aye.
It used to be free at one time and all, didn't it?
It was open, aye.
You just gone up. Used to have a little wooden, like, collection box on a gate, so you could
just make a donation.
Well, just a little wooden box. Wouldn't last new, like it would just be smacked up and missed, wouldn't it?
Oh, aye, someone would rob that straight away. Another fish just jumped. It'd definitely be. Oh, there's one just jumped in there. There's some ripples under them branches now. Definitely good fishing territory. That's why we're back at the campsite where someone was camping. They've had the old stones doing there, but they've had a bit of a fire there, what they've cleared. But they just haven't cleared that fire. Some sort of spoils thing. You can get down into the water a bit easier. This side it looks a bit more pebbly. If you were fishing here, that's probably why they've chosen this spot. Oh, I'm seeing it looks a bit better. Ah, a few more. It's just a little bit murky. And back onto the pebbles. It's probably not as sinky as what it looks now. There'll be pebbles under all that. But that's definitely changed. Oh, the top of it's collapsed. That old fence is holding up. I can remember building that about 20 odd years ago. The woods lasted a long time. And it went along the top there, we can see the trees on the top, and it went along there, and there was still about another 5 or 6 foot away from the bankside, the fence. It wasn't right on the edge, so there's a lot of this came and washed it for some reason. But they have been clearing a lot of trees up there, up on the top, and that's probably what's caused all the water, you know, like to wash stuff away, where they've cleared all the trees on the top. They didn't think about what they're actually doing when they did them things, did they? They cut all the, there was some old massive yew trees on the top, they've cut them down to clear the way for the bathhouse. They cleared all the top parts, the bank sides for the footpaths, but they've just made it vulnerable to rainwater. Anyway for the water again, so it's just washed all down. Ruined it for themselves, really. We've just come a little bit further down from where we're on the. That's the old bits of jackdaw up on the top corner there, and we're starting to struggle again when the path's on the side of the water. No. But it's actually a nice place, this. It's getting kind of white over the years. It's washed all the bank sides away. There's a bit of a rocky platform down there under them trees, like how you kind of get down the side here, but you can't down there. So we're gonna get into there and try and get down a little bit further and continue. We'll walk down the edge of the water. But it's hard work when you're on these stones and scrambling through stuff. Just in the trees, come across this skull. I think it's a skull. They look like eye sockets, no sockets, tear ducts. Bit of a weird one. It's got them ridges, holes in the top. It looks quite evil. Not sure what that is. Any comments would be welcome. Because it was just here and I did see some other bones somewhere. Ah, there's a... No, I thought it was. Ah, it is. No. I've seen some other bits of bones when I was in here, that's what attracted us to it. Bit of a dead animal. But any comments on that? I'm just not sure. Having holes doing the centre of it and stuff like that. Bit of a weird one. Found a little bit of a path to get back down onto the rocks here. A little bit awkward, but that's a bit we couldn't really get run without getting wet. We'll just up there. But this is I would like to come down and even see that otter tracks or another hole or something, you know, just or another sprint. Now when you see the piles of crap on a stone or something. Because we've travelled a lot of the water this year and we just haven't seen any. Well, we've seen a couple of tracks, but that's about it. It's a big old view, this one. Pigeon's nest there. There's a few, I've just seen another pipe, like grey whitetail in the water there. And these are the types of places you find dippers doing here. But there's a sewage outlet doing there, what I was on about earlier. And we're on the way up, you can see it. Probably going to stink because we've got the sewage works on the top. Maybe refine it out.
There's a dipper just down the edge of the bank, can you see it?
Oh, it's just in front of us.
Can you get it there?
Yeah. I think I'm looking at it.
I've seen a lot of that this year.
Yeah, I can't even see it. Yeah, I can't even see the thing.
You can't see it?
I think I'm looking in the wrong place completely.
Probably will have it in there. There it is.
Ah, I've got it now. I was looking in all the wrong places. The reflection of the water.
Are them double glued in?
Aye. We found one in March one year, man, didn't we? Now one big, big massive young ones in the nest.
Fun there. Two of them this year?
Aye.
Four?
At least three, maybe four, you're right. 3 or 4 of them. There's the one in the tunnel.
The one up Chaple Woods, that was right next to the...
Where the little waterfall was, and we found one up there, Blackwall Mill and all, didn't we? So,
I've not come across another one.
I'm not sure. But we'll have, it must be good feeding for them. This is the ideal place where you would find them and all. Like, let's flew away anyway, just see what. Now we've just struggled a tiny bit further, doing probably a couple of 100 yards And just to show you this bits of scenery. And across here you've got the footpaths and gibside. You can see there's a lead going on top of that wall there. I'm going to see how far we can actually get down on this side. So I'll just struggle on this side. That's the old walls keeping the field up. Doesn't look like they're going to last another 100 years. Just a little bit further down. It looks like someone's cleared this bit now where they've been fishing and chopped it all down.
Just off the opposite gibside hole, we cannot see for this big tree in the road there, but you can see the monument sticking up the top there.
Aye,
and the statue on the top.
Try to zoom in, well, it's only... It's not far away, it's kind of far, like, but...
It's actually a statue of a woman on the top, isn't it? One of the ladies who used to live at gibside. The boars.
I've got to keep still. I've zoomed in too far and I can't keep still, you know, like...
I actually climbed up there years ago.
Aye.
And I had the scaffolding up when they were cleaning it.
I remember the time I got halfway up.
The actual statue.
That's just the top of it sticking on the top of them trees. It's a lot higher than that. The statue itself is about 20 foot or something, isn't it?
Aye, it's a penny outside. It's like
and then you've got
sections.
and then you've got the monument itself, the pillar. That was huge.
When I was a kid, for some reason, I used to think it was a soldier on top of it. I didn't know why I thought that.
Aye.
Because I used to think, can you see the bit lightning conductor there when the bit on the top?
Aye.
I actually thought that was his gun for some reason, and that was his hat
right.
on the top of it.
I heard the rumours when I was young that it was like a pot of gold.
Aye.
And they bent it upside down deliberately to stop people from trying to get to it. Nah, like thinking it was gold or something now filled. Or gold lined or something, I don't know. Something mad like that anyways.
The stone statue and that's one of the boars.
I'm not even sure.
We're going
a bit further down so we can see the hole.
Aye.
The footpath looks as if someone's been using them, so it might not be too bad to get down this side. It's quite hard to see them, but just in there is the female duck. You see it there now, but it has got quite a few little ducklings with it.
There's a little white tail on the rock, you know, you can see it.
Oh, I just on the smaller rocks and I'm going on the water's edge, clear back to. I didn't really want to go in there and disturb them, like, but well, this is actually the footpath what we're going to be going along.
Oh, it's a bit wild.
Oh, what's that? Little bit. It's not holly bush in front of us.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Oh, there, it's just it.
There's a few of them.
Oh, there must be young ones.
There's a load of them. Aye. Quite a few, you can tell by the little white peaks on them still. They're actually tiny, aren't they?
Oh, they're all little birds, aren't they? Oh, you got that one there sitting bobbing up and doing on that ground.
I think I have. Is that small? I can't even see it.
I can't see it now.
There's another one there now. I'm trying to get one in. I did get the first one straight in though.
That one's clear as day, just sitting there now.
Oh, there's dozens of them.
There's a lot of them. All over the place. Right, one successful
near chaple. Aye. Aye, one successful nest. Aye. I'm just looking at this and thinking, where's it leading? Because it's like a road to nowhere. It probably wouldn't have been half as bad if that tree hadn't fell down. That's going to be a bit of a challenge trying to get through that. And or either doing that way and through them trees. I didn't know which way to go.
kind of time we one day, but this is where that big sandy stuff is somewhere.
Aye.
It's in the water.
Right.
I told me there's a kid that just got sunk instantly up in my chest.
Right. Aye.
Got a couple of people winners that got my arms and pulled. If I'd have been by myself, I would never get me.
Aye. It's not very often you come across stuff like that.
It looked more like cement. But I thought it was hard and I jumped on it and I just...
Aye.
It was definitely somewhere around here. It was straight out of something.
So it must have like pulled together and like where the stones were and been a bit of a...
I didn't know if it was Matt Mushroom worked out here years later. I think it was Malcolm.
Aye.
And they actually put like posts all the way around it and stuff now to...
Yeah, to cover it in, to stop people from going anywhere near it. Well, that's where the duck was, I can see it. Can't I? No. But it was... Oh, the duck would have went straight in the water and through there, wouldn't it? Aye. What are we going to do? I don't know. We can get down on it here, I suppose. But then... Let's see if it takes well anyway. I'll turn the camera off for now. So I can put it in my pocket and use both hands. I don't want to fall down through this.
That tree should have been a bit bigger. And if it's fair, I do know would have got one on the other side.
I would have getting wet. That would have been a challenge with the camera. Well, I've just put the camera back on because in here, when I was coming in, I did see some little footprints. I can see, I think there's a couple of deer ones there. That looks like a deer one. You can see the two runs, like 1, 2. But just down here somewhere, I did see they look like little paw prints of a otter. Where did I see it? There. Just there. You can see the slight toe prints. You can see that there's a pad print. And then toe, whatever they are. I'll stand back a little bit from it and make sure I've got the right one in. But this is the first otter tracks we came across. There was another one there, but we started it by accident, never came down. They're a few days old because they look like they've been washed out a bit. And there will be others, but they're just being disturbed. And right, so crossing the line. Oh shit! Clawed it up.
You can see the hole pretty clear from there.
Oh, that's a good view of the hole there, isn't it? Aye.
See it better because you can see the foot. You can never normally see that end bit from when you look at it from the road, can you?
Aye.
I reckon in the early 40s and 50s most of it was still intact.
Aye, I did get told they took the roof off it years ago for tax purposes.
But even when the roof off
it exposed it to the weather now, like your inside work isn't as good as the outside now, like it was our normal bricks.
Supposed to now have most of the windows in and all the flooring and all the staircases and everything still there, the fires and
all the
even bits of signs and some of the even old, you know what I mean? Just
there's a football. Probably washed in from where Roland got a port is.
So that's what I'm saying. You would think it had been standing completely ruined for hundreds of years. But
it looks like that. But it's not even that.
Like 60 or 70 years ago, it was like pretty much intact.
Aye.
Apart from like the sun and the roof.
It might have been the 60s or 70s when they took the roof off. You know, like. It was where they started getting taxed on these old buildings, but now with it being National Trust and all that crap, they get donations to cover all that. I bet they wish they'd left the roof on. A lot of the farmers had to do it years ago. On the old barns, the old roof buildings.
If you think, the building was probably only built like, what, 400 years ago?
Aye.
I mean, there's buildings that survived.
There's the date on it, aye. Oh, they've lasted a lot longer than that. There's houses that have lasted longer than that. It's because they took the roof off and it exposed it.
And that top was like 1700 and something when it was built.
Aye.
So probably 300 years ago.
The plaster work and the small brickwork just dropped the bits. Right.
Right, we've got to try and get in again.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be a bit of a canny bit of a challenge.
It's got to be somewhere that way.
Right, I'll turn the camera off again and try. Right, we've just come to that wood there. We had to climb up the bank side to get back into the field here, and we're just taking a little bit of a shortcut because that's where we were in the top corner, back down to where we got the car. Aye, everywhere we went, it's just been hard work today. It's warm and it's not really sunny.
Kind of rough track. We haven't been on proper paths.
Nah, we've just been making around in the woods. We've been out for like at least a couple of hours. Wait, 10 is it?
2.5 hours.
Aye. 2.5 hours in the wood, like trying to stumbling through footpaths and that. Hard work, climbing up them hills. But we're anyways, we're back out and this is the end of it for the day.